Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into an idea, a philosophical idea, that really gets to the core of what it even means to know something. And fair warning, this might just change how you see, well, everything. Okay, so let's just jump right in with a question. Is reading the menu the same as actually tasting the food? I mean, really think about it. You can read a super detailed, mouth-watering description, but is it the same as taking that first bite? No way, right? One is just information. The other? That's experience. And that simple difference, well, that's the key to this whole explainer. So it turns out philosophers have a way of breaking this down. On one side, you've got what's called knowledge by acquaintance. This is the real deal, direct, raw experience. It's the feeling of the rain hitting your skin. And then on the other side, there's knowledge by description. This is all about the facts. It's like reading a weather report that says, yep, 100% chance of rain. See? It's two totally different ways of knowing about the exact same thing. And this isn't just some neat little thought experiment. This distinction is actually a cornerstone of epistemology, which is the philosophical study of knowledge itself. It's a big deal. So let's really zero in on that first category, knowledge by acquaintance. What does it actually mean to know something through direct, unfiltered experience? The most important part of this whole definition is that little phrase, without any process of reasoning or inference. Inference is, that step-by-step thinking, like if this is true, then that must be true. Knowledge by acquaintance just skips all of that. It's immediate. It just hits you. Think about our most basic feelings. When you stub your toe, you don't logically deduce that you're in pain. You are just immediately and directly acquainted with the feeling of pain. Right. And it's the same for the feeling of heat, like the sun on your arm. You don't have to think about it, you just feel it. Or the shock of cold when you grab an ice cube. It's just an instant, undeniable awareness. And of course, hunger. These kinds of raw physical sensations are really the clearest examples of this. They're the foundation of our direct experience. They just happen to us, no thinking required. Okay, but this idea, which seems pretty simple on the surface, is about to get a whole lot weirder. And we have the philosopher Bertrand Russell to thank for that. He's the one who really formalized this whole distinction, and he took it in a pretty wild direction. You see, Russell wasn't just trying to put knowledge into neat little boxes. He was using this idea to question what we can truly claim to know about the world outside of our own minds. And here it is. This is the radical twist. Russell argued that we are never directly acquainted with the actual physical objects in the world. Not a chair, not a tree, not even another person. Instead, he said, the only thing we're ever directly acquainted with is our own private sense data. The sensations of color, of shape, of sound that are happening inside our own heads. And this really shows you what he meant. So there's a bird out there in the world. Light bounces off of it and hits your eye. But then there's a gap. Your brain has to process that signal, and what you become directly aware of isn't the bird itself. It's your internal, private, mental experience of the bird. You have to make a mental leap, an inference, that a real bird is what's causing it. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This gap between us and reality, it sounds a little unsettling, right? Like we're all just trapped inside our own personal movie theaters. But Russell argued that this actually points us toward the one thing we can be absolutely, unshakably certain about. And here's the payoff. You could be totally wrong about that thing out there in the world. That bird you think you see, maybe it's a hologram, an advanced robot, or just a hallucination. But, and this is the key, the one thing you cannot be wrong about is that you are currently having the experience of seeing a bird. That internal sensation is undeniable. And because of that, this kind of direct knowledge, knowledge by acquaintance, is seen as immediate, as foundational, meaning it's the bedrock that all our other knowledge is built on, and, most importantly, as infallible. It's the one piece of certainty we have in a world where our senses can, let's be honest, trick us all the time. This idea actually has a fancy name in philosophy, the infallibility thesis. It's this whole concept that we have this privileged, error-proof access to our own mental states. You, and only you, are the world's leading expert on what it feels like to be you in this exact moment. All right, so let's tie all of this together with a final side-by-side look to make sure this distinction is absolutely crystal clear. So this table pretty much sums it all up. Your knowledge by acquaintance has a direct connection to you. Description is indirect. Because of that, acquaintance is certain and infallible, while description, well, that can be wrong. And finally, and this is a cool distinction, Their very nature is different. Acquaintance is non-propositional. It's knowing a thing, like the sensation of red. Description is propositional. It's knowing that a fact is true, like the statement, that apple is red. Which brings us to our final lingering thought for you to chew on. We started with something so simple, right? Tasting food versus reading a menu. But it leads us right here to this huge kind of challenging question. If the only thing you can ever be absolutely 100% certain of is your own private world of sensation, then how well can you ever truly know the reality that exists outside of it?